Hello, Athish Gaming back with part 4 of my Classic WoW pre-patch, aka Phase 6.5 breakdown. In this one, we'll be going over Horde raid comps. And why am I specifying Horde? Aren't there paladins and shamans on both factions? And the answer is yes, but initially you're not going to have paladins. People may boost them up super fast, maybe you even have one week 1, and I'll talk about where to put that week 1 paladin, but you should expect to say that at least initially you're not going to have the paladins and shamans. So let's get into how we build out the groups. So to start, we want to get our tanks, and this is going to be a deep protection warrior and a fury protection warrior, because as mentioned before, I don't know which one's better, and we want to have a feral druid. So before we finish building out these groups, we want to also make sure we include survival hunters for exposed weakness, that 200 plus AP bonus to the entire raid, and improved hunter's mark for an additional, I think, 130 AP bonus, so 300 AP for the whole raid here. Pair them with an enhanced shaman. And why an enhanced shaman? Because they drop Grace of Air. That increases the AP for the entire raid. Feral combat doesn't get any benefit from Grace of Air, or from Wind Fury, so Grace of Air buffs your feral combat. And then lastly, this spot I'll get back to, but we don't necessarily have a great person. If you have a third hunter, you put them here, but if you only have 2 hunters, we'll get back to where it goes in here. So in our first group, we're going to want to have at least one arms warrior in the raid, and this is a good place to put him, and we're going to want to have an enhancement shaman. Additionally, I would put a resto shaman in this group. And the reason being is that the restoration shaman can drop Grace of Air. Grace of Air makes your tanks dodge more often, makes your tanks crit more often, makes your armors warrior crit more often, and it's just a good spot to fit in the additional healers, as you'll see later. So now we want to talk about melee DPS groups, and I'm going to put Fury and Combat in here, but really any mix of Fury and Combat, as long as you have enough 4 horseman tanks, is good. And ideally, you put enhancement shamans here. If you don't have the enhancement shamans here, you put restoration shamans here, because they'll at least still provide Wind Fury. But if you can, you want enhancement shamans here for better Wind Fury, better Strength of Earth, and Unleashed Rage, giving this group 10% more AP. So onto the caster groups. And for caster groups, we want to have enough mages to make sure our decurses are covered and potentially can roll ignites. A balanced druid is essential for the raid. And then an elemental shaman. And you say, why are we stacking an elemental and a balance? Well, elemental gets 3% hit, balance needs the hit, and we really want to make sure that balance doesn't get their fairy fires resisted, because that will cause all sorts of problems. And just in general, this is your pumper mage group. Now, you're going to have another group of casters, which will be affliction, destruction, mage, and an elemental shaman. Now, once again, these 4 shamans are really good to have, but if you don't have enhancement or elemental shamans, these are the ones that you replace with restoration. So now onto the healer groups. So for the healer groups, we're going to want 2 holy, a holy, and a discipline. Actually, we'll put the discipline there, and we're going to want a holy, and we're going to want a shadow. Follow that up with a restoration druid, a resto shaman, and then 2 more resto shamans. So this would be the complete horde comp. If you get a holy paladin, they go right there. And this will leave you with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 healers, which is about what we see in most raid comps. If not, have this person be a restoration, or swap in a restoration here, and have this be whoever doesn't need Wind Fury. You can put the affliction lock here if you want to take an additional mage. You can throw an affliction there, and you can throw in an additional mage. That works, but this spot is what you really want to give your first paladin. And then from there, we'll talk more about alliance and paladin groups. but this is, I think, the ideal raid comp for your level 60 40-man post or TBC pre-patch Horde. So that covers my Horde pre-patch level 60 40-man raid best raid comp. If you have any differences of opinion or agree with it or would like to see more videos, then let me know and I'd be happy to argue about it with you. Anyways, have a wonderful day and talk to you later.